excite people and make them laugh, make them scream, make them look through their fingers and or just wide-eyed. The sword is a real sword. It's solid metal. Actually travel down into my rib cage and then down into my stomach. It comes from yoga, from India, from a long time ago. I gained consciousness over these muscles that go down, and I'm able to open and close them, and I'm able to tell them that, oh, this is not a foreign object going down. This is a sword that you know very well, and my muscles and I, we can talk. And
Okay, Eric. So let's begin. Thank you so much, first of all, for coming to this conversation with me. I was very
yeah,
excited. I looked at some of the videos of your performances, and especially America's Got Talent. And it was
yeah.
safe to say it was insane and very impressive. I have honestly never seen anything like that. I was scared, quite frankly, because those stunts are something that I didn't know, people could do. It was physically possible. So, why don't you start by telling me how you got started as a stuntsman, if that's what you would like to call us, or if you would like to call us a performance, call you a performance artist.
I'm both a stunt man and a performance artist because my
Right.
performance, my main skill in my performance is sword swallowing and other sideshow stunts.
Correct.
But I'm a performance artist, so I'm a character. I take on Jelly Boy the Clown as my main, you know, uh, vehicle to
Right.
entertain people. Yeah,
You
and
entertain
and I
people,
got
you
started.
also scare people.
Yeah, well, I like to think about entertainment as more than just delighting people. I want to challenge people, and I want to challenge myself as well. Because I want people to feel lots of different emotions when they see my show. And
Right.
I don't want everyone to have experience either. I want each individual to have a completely different experience, as we all do in life. Um, yeah, but I want to scare people, but that's not the only thing I want to do. I also want to, excite people and make them laugh, make them scream, make them look through their fingers and or just wide-eyed, take it in.
Right.
I like the mix. Yeah.
Right. So you are right now in Iceland. Is that where you belong to, or you mentioned that you're from Coney Island. You were born in New York City, but
Yeah.
I see that you're in Iceland right now. So, are you Icelandic?
No, I'm not Icelandic, but my son is Icelandic and my wife is Icelandic.
Right.
But I'm from New York originally, and I've worked in New York City a lot. I've worked in Brooklyn at the Coney Island Circus Sideshow Theater, and I've worked in Ripley's, believe it or not, in Times Square. But I travel the world doing my act, and that's where I ended up in Iceland. I met my wife here during one of my shows, and yeah, we really fell in love and started getting together all the time as much as we could in different places. And eventually, we decided we needed to be in one place together.
That's beautiful. I see that you have a beautiful son, and you have a very beautiful family. So, when I saw your videos, I think your first performance at America's Got Talent was, you mentioned your father is an investment banker, if I'm correct?
Yeah, well, he's retired, but
Right.
he worked in New York. He would always go and work every day, and he worked really hard his whole life, and he's an interesting guy because he he's like the normal one of the family. Like my mother is a bit eccentric and creative person, but never did anything professionally with her creativity. She just always enjoyed being creative, um, and encouraged all of her sons to be creative. So my two brothers are very creative also, and yeah. But my father, he always says like, I don't know where you got it. He's like, I'm just like a regular guy, and you guys are all crazy and fun and everything. And but he's like he's very calm and kind and just a very nice person to be with. Yeah.
You are too, actually. I thought your personality would be
Uh,
different. I thought you would be as eccentric as you appear on stage, but you are quite a
yeah.
different and chilled person. I think you're very chilled out. And why do you feel that, you know, stunts are the way to express your creativity? Because you said that your mother's creative, your brothers are also creative. Uh, what kind of creativity or what kind of inspiration got you into doing stunts as scary as this? And was there any doubt in your mind before you started?
Um, yeah, absolutely. Well, I started as a musician, and I was playing music and singing as the front person of a band. So I was trying to sing and dance and be entertaining. And I uh, one of my brothers died about 25 years ago, and
Sorry to hear
my
that.
older brother. Yes, thank you. It's just he was my inspiration, and he was very a great artist, a cool storyteller and painter and sculptor, and he had lots of different characters. And so in my band, I tried to take on some of his personas, and I started to realize, oh, I'm communicating you know, with him, with the spirit of my brother, and I'm becoming a clown. I'm starting to, you know, because of the tragedy, I that I experienced with losing him. I wanted to express myself with comedy, and also cheat death with my stunts, because the idea of these stunts is that you could die, you could be seriously injured. You have to be a trained professional to perform sword swallowing and fire breathing and all these other types of things I do with the electricity, with the Tesla coil, and that kind of stuff. And so my whole concept is that I'm a clown that likes danger and goes very close to death without dying.
That's pretty impressive and very scary. I would not
Yeah.
even I wouldn't do this ever because I am a scared I'm this scaredy cat who does not like to play with danger. But I really applaud you for the kind of philosophy you have behind your art and behind your performance, behind your stunts, behind your very play with death and danger. When you started 20 years ago, what were those moments where you felt like, okay, this is really difficult? How do I do this? Was there ever a sort of doubt in your mind that, okay, this is too hard for me, I might want to do something different? Or were you always confident about your skills?
Well, um, I started slow with some easy or basic skills, um, and a lot of what I was doing was presenting other performers, because I was like the MC, the master of ceremonies, and I was presenting all different types of acts. So I was singing, and I was showing the audience puppets and sideshow performers and dancers and fire breathers and all kinds of stuff, and telling stories was what I did. And then at a certain point, I started to do the more advanced stunts, but I was learning from an old master who knew how to swallow swords and knew all the secrets of the sideshow. And I was fortunate because I had a guide. It's not like I learned everything on YouTube or, just like reading old books and stuff. I had a firsthand experience with someone who already knew for many, many years. But I mixed it with my own style. So I didn't just become like a copy of my teacher. I was just myself. And I took these old skills and I
Hmm.
made them my own and made them, new.
All right, and I have another question for you related to this. You don't have to reveal your secrets, but
Mm.
is how is this possible? A sword that just goes down your throat. This what are, you
Yeah.
defy physics, you defy biological rules. How does that even happen? And do you ever, while you're performing, think, okay, maybe if I ever messed up, what would happen? Are there any,
Yeah.
you don't have to reveal any of the secrets, but how does this, I'm very curious, how does this happen?
Mm. Well, I can tell you a couple of things. That the sword is a real sword. It's solid metal, and
Oh.
there are magicians who make swords that are fake, that collapse into the handle and roll up. But the swords that I
Oh.
use actually travel down into my rib cage and then down into my stomach. And what it is it comes from yoga, from India, from a long time ago. And the American carnival back in the 1800s was very interested in the mysticism of Asia. And in those days, people wanted that sort of real magic. And so the American sideshow of over 100 years ago was looking back into the mystical, and basically what it is it's control over all of your involuntary muscles. So that's why I say it's yoga, because yoga is about breathing, and yoga is about learning to have body consciousness. So when you take your mind and you apply it to the involuntary muscles that just normally eat your food and swallow everything, I gained consciousness over these muscles that go down, and I'm able to open and close them, and I'm able to tell them that, oh, this is not a foreign object going down. This is a sword that you know very well. And and my muscles and I, we can talk. And basically, um yeah, it's about body consciousness. And it takes a while to learn to to be able to do it, because these muscles want to do their own thing. And so you have to spend a lot of time in deep thought, like meditation or self hypnosis, to be able to unlearn all of these things that you thought were true from the time you were a young uh, child,
That's
and
really interesting,
relearn.
and that is just, I did not expect that. As someone who does yoga, I've been doing yoga for almost a decade. I started as a child, and
Mm,
I did not expect that a stunt like sword swallowing could involve, being a yogi and having control over your muscles, which again,
yeah.
uh, it is so fascinating to see someone do that and learn something from a different world, or from a different country, and apply it to their performance and their skills. And I'm now even more fascinated. um, do you think you would be teaching this to someone, or do you think you would keep this to yourself, and maybe even, your son when he grows up, do you think he'll, if he ever asks you that, I would like to do something that you've done, would you be teaching him, or would you be scared that he wants to do something that like you?
Well, I if he wanted to do it, I would teach him, but I would never, you know, put pressure on him to learn something like that. Because it the whole concept is its transcendence of your mortal body. The idea that your mind is connected to the bigger universe, and your body and your mind are one uh, at the same time as they're separate. I will teach some people, but I would be very careful who I taught. You know, I've taught a few people in my life, and there are probably a few more people that I will teach, but I don't do it for money. Um, you know, that's not my motivation. My motivation is if I see somebody is, you know, like they could really benefit from this, and this is something that they it's kind of like their destiny to do, then I listen to my inner voice and I will teach some people. But other people, I'll get a feeling that it might be dangerous for them, so I would never teach them because there's many different types of personalities in the world, and there's a lot of responsibility when you know how to do a dangerous thing. If you teach it to the wrong person and they get hurt, or they quickly teach it to somebody else and then that person gets hurt, it it's it's a very heavy responsibility, and I want to be careful who I teach and how I teach them. But teaching is not really my passion. My passion is performing. So teaching is just something that might happen if I become close with somebody and appreciate them. You know.
Yes, absolutely. That's that makes total sense, and I do acknowledge and appreciate that a lot of people do things that are dangerous and then they pass it on to others. It's quite unfair to be teaching this to someone who may not be safe. So I really appreciate your thought process behind this. One of my last questions to you would be, now that you've written a book about this, um, do you think it would help change perceptions in people's minds about performers like you who do dangerous stunts? Uh, because I was not aware of how these are done. I myself did not have the uh, best idea that okay, this is actually something that requires years of work. I thought it was just a trick, but as you mentioned in America's Got Talent, tricks are for kids, and you are a stunts person. So, how do you think your book will change perceptions, or how do you think, how do you expect your book to have a response?
Well, the the book I hope will show people the reality of the lifestyle that you have to live when you're on the road as a traveling entertainer that does the type of stunts that I do, and that there's a whole other world under the surface of our world, and there's all these different characters that exist inside of it, people that you may never have met or thought of, and so it gives you a view into this other world, like this secret, society of weird people that entertain folks for a living and travel.
If you were to do something else in life, let's say 20, 30 years or 20 years back, this didn't happen to you, and you hadn't lost your brother, or maybe life had been a different, completely different, uh, it had been completely different from what it is right now. How would you have, what's that one thing you would have done that is not performing but equally satisfying for you as a creative person?
Yeah. Well, if all that hadn't have happened and I hadn't have decided to just ventures, I I may have gotten deeper into academics, and I might have become some sort of a professor of theological studies, or maybe I could have become a therapist of some kind of psychoanalytical variety, or maybe I would have been a writer like I am now. But I just published this book after 20 years of being a performer, so maybe I would have spent more time writing and making that sort of thing, maybe I would have been a professor. Who knows? I really don't know. But I ended up
Truly,
being who I am. Happy about it.
truly. Yes, life
Yeah.
is unpredictable, and it's amazing that you are where you are right now. You're a writer, you're a performer, you are many things, and you're a man of many talents. And it was really, really nice speaking with you. I hope your book is a great success and people learn something from your book. They learn about your journey, they learn about artists who are like you, people who are weirdos and eccentric people. And I hope they gain a new appreciation for the kind of art or performance that people like you are doing to entertain the world, because it truly takes you know courage, it truly takes determination to be where you are right now. And this was a great conversation. Thank you for joining me today, and see you soon. Okay, bye bye, have a great day.